So we've all heard that YouTube is the secret immersion strategy. Unfortunately, most people consume YouTube thinking they are learning, but actually nothing is getting in the brains. How do I find content suited for me or comprehensible input? How do I ensure that it gets in my brain? So in this video, we're going to be covering all that. I've been trying to figure this out for a long time. Recently, I've been sounding more fluent-ish.
当然，我只想找一个财富的女孩，只要有钱，她就是王道。Joking， 我是 joking。我要怎么迷恋有钱的人
So yeah, if you're interested, let's go. So let's start off with why YouTube. In schools, we're taught you have to use textbooks, right? I think textbooks are great to get the basics down, get the basic vocabulary and the grammar. But at some point, you want to spread your wings and also have a bit more fun. The caveat with textbooks is that they're all just like word. Maybe there are some books where there's pictures, but I'm not seeing that. So I'm just diligently doing all the grammar exercises and man, it's so boring. In textbooks as well, there's a knowledge cap because you're following a rigid syllabus. They might be teaching you vocabulary of stuff that you don't really care about. And it's only when I started reaching out for native content did I start encountering words I'm like, damn, I want to use that in my sentence. Also, you want a strategy that can allow you to study for long periods of time. With textbooks, because it's boring, I'll just do like 30 minutes and bye, I'm done. I mean, YouTube's content is endless, and out of all of the other social media platforms, you get long form content, which means you can stay on there even longer. I mean, my screen time is just YouTube. But this means that there's content for all of you, regardless of your level. You can be beginner, intermediate, advanced. For Japanese, I'm beginner. I use Teppei Sensei. Mandarin, I'm a bit more advanced. I like to say I'm advanced, but really I'm intermediate. Anyway, but I use these types of content. For Korean, I just do karaoke on YouTube because I'm very beginner and I just want to do pronunciation. 300,000 hours of content gets uploaded on YouTube per hour. And it's just going to increase. You got content for every one of you. And it's also great for people who just want to maintain their language. Let's say you're a polyglot and you have 5 languages. If you're focusing on one, you can just use YouTube for the rest of the 4 to get your passive learning. And so in my 10 years of learning Chinese, just so sad to say, learning from YouTube has been my best resource thus far. But maybe you still have some doubts because really, will YouTube just solve all my problems? The thing about learning from YouTube is it also takes a bit of time to find like perfect resources for you. So if you want to skip all of that already, I got the perfect thing for you. LingoPie is a streaming platform that has all your K-pop, variety shows, endless content, just like YouTube. Except it also has features just for language learners. I personally use LingoPie for Korean and Japanese, but they also have languages for Chinese, French, German, Spanish. Literally last night, I was watching Going 17 so I can prepare myself for their fan meet. As you watch, you get interactive subtitles. You can click on any word to get its meaning, sentence breakdowns, and its translations.
그러니까. And you can record yourself too. How good am I?
So for me personally, I'm putting every word that Hoshi says into a flashcard. This motivates me to do the in-app quizzes because I gotta hear Hoshi's voice. LingoPie saves the flashcard with the clip. So you can hear the word in context and I can hear Hoshi's voice in my head even more than usual.
See him? Sneak cameo? You can increase and decrease the speed, add subtitles, loop things. Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm so gassed to say that you guys get a discount. You guys get a 7-day free trial and 55% off your yearly plan. So what are you waiting for? The discount link is in the description. Go check it, just click it. Thank you to LingoPie for sponsoring me. YouTube is very powerful because the amount of input you get is a correlation to how good you will output. If you have no idea how the language is supposed to sound in your head, how are you supposed to spew it out? So now that you know why I like YouTube, let's finally step through the process together. And by the way, if you're also learning a language, join the language gang. We try to keep it fun here. If you were just about to search up beginner content for Japanese, what are you doing? You're about to make the same error I made because very quickly your YouTube account is going to look insanely messy. I had my main YouTube channel And I started following like my favorite Korean podcasts, like Youngji's Drunk Podcast Show or like Deck's interview. Basically, everywhere Chaewon went, I followed. Then I was like, maybe I should do Chinese content. So then I'd watch a little bit of some Chinese podcasts, all on the same account, which meant YouTube was recommending me English content, Chinese content, Japanese, Korean content. So instead, we should be directing YouTube rather than just let YouTube shove random content in our face. And so the first step I recommend is making different accounts for every language that you want to learn. This means that if you say, hey, today is my Chinese immersion day, you're going to go on your Chinese account and you're only going to get Chinese content. So by separating out my content, I can get less distracted and I can cultivate my own YouTube ecosystem. The next step is, how do we find content that we enjoy? Because if I'm forcing myself through a video, I might as well just open a textbook, Take a look at your already existing recommendations and interests in your main English channel. So for Chinese, I enjoy watching relationship videos because that's where all the juiciness is. So my usual content is like Cindy H or P Choi for her relationship advice. And in the beginning, you're not going to know what the hell is going on. Like, it takes time for YouTube to find the right content for you. But when the YouTube algorithm hits, it hits. I mean, you should know, because if you're watching this video, you've reached the peak of YouTube. For beginners, I found it useful if I looked for beginner podcasts, but you really want to limit how much you search in English. YouTube will realize that you are learning that foreign language and it will start just recommending more English content to you, which we can't have. If you're in the intermediate plateau, the way to break out into advanced is by niching really down into your hobbies. I can assure you, when you first start using YouTube, everything is going to be so overwhelming. Especially if you're in the intermediate stage, you're like, I don't understand anything from native content. But by honing into specific topics, you can build up your vocabulary like little islands. So one can be, for example, beauty. Another can be like shopping. And the trick here is only follow a few content creators that you really like. Because every video that they have is of that specific topic, usually. They use similar sentence structures, similar grammar, which gives you that repetition of vocabulary in different contexts, which is very important. Cindy does makeup and lifestyle. These are two very similar topics, which means I can gradually expand my vocabulary that way. But you might still mess up even after finding good videos to watch. Because the next question is, given a video and given a good content creator, how do you now study those words? So a big mistake that I see a lot of people do, they will copy down every sentence that person is writing or everything new in that video. I might have a big forehead, but I still can't fit all of those words in my head. And also you can only fit about 10 to 20 new words per day, according to Google. So what are you doing with your 10 pages of notes? But then how do I know which words to make flashcards for? So when I go through a video, I still note down interesting sentences that I really like. But the key step here is what you do after. As you go over the sentence that you've written down, choose 5 sentences that you want to learn. And when I'm choosing these 5, I'm asking myself, is this a sentence that I would use in real life?
If I show you that, will I get demonetized?
Because this will be important for our next step. As you go over these sentences as well, you may also notice like grammar patterns or like rules in speech, and you're building up that backlog. You can definitely use ChatGPT to explain it to you. But what I found is, if you just keep seeing these types of grammar rules, you just pick it up naturally. Now we've learned the words, how are we supposed to review them so we remember it forever? It sounds simple, but you just have to interact with that sentence. A lot of other people, they make flashcards, put these sentences in, and then just review them a lot of times. I kind of gave up on flashcards. You get a lot of repetition of these words anyway from like watching a lot of content from YouTube. What I do personally now is basically taking my favorite sentences and then making my own video, which I did an example on this channel. But it all boils down to the basics. You can find your own strategy if you remember what the essence of learning is, which is just repeated exposure to the thing in many different contexts. So by making my own video, I'm constantly exposed to these sentences because of the editing process. To get repetition, you can listen to the episodes again and again. But this can get boring, which is why I recommend following specific creators, because the way they speak is very consistent in every video. and they kind of use the words in slightly different contexts each time. So YouTube makes up the biggest chunk of my learning right now, and I'm finding it very valuable. There is a small caveat though, which is YouTube can really tire you out. If you're constantly on YouTube, it can be very draining. So just remember to take a few breaks from watching YouTube and also leave some room to watch YouTube in English, because we gotta wind down sometimes. So in this video, I kind of talked about more active ways of studying, but in my next video, I'm gonna talk more about more passive ways of learning a language for people who are very busy or for people who just want to maintain a few languages. So keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in using LingoPie, the link will be in the description below. And finally, I know a lot of people are struggling between, should I choose Korean, Japanese, Mandarin? I made a video on that you might like. But remember to take it chill and enjoy the process. And you don't have to struggle alone. You can join the language struggle gang. Otherwise, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.